Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever time of day you happen to be in right now listening to this episode. We are the MLO Project, and we are the number 756 rated podcast in the mortgage industry. We are so proud of that because we were at 757 for so long.
I hope
so
to
now
God you made that up, dude.
I made it up. I have
Okay,
no
good.
idea what we rank. I don't
Holy
care.
shit.
People are listening and people are talking, so that's all that matters. But welcome to the episode that's nearest and dearest to our heart, and the podcast that's nearest and dearest to our heart. Joining me, as always, is my co-host, Mr. McAllister. What's up, bro cha-cha?
What's up, dude? How are we doing today?
Doing good, man. Actually, I stole that from
Isn't
DC.
bro cha-cha in the feminine? Did you just refer to me in the feminine?
I have no idea, but DC just called me that one on our earlier conversation, so I was just carrying it over. Usually I say, how about brotato chip?
Brotato, hey, the Idaho brotato.
The brotato.
Let's go.
Yeah. All right. Well, hey guys, we got probably an episode that will mostly like fly in the face of what everyone else is doing right now, because we're going to be talking about AI. We've talked about this on several layers, but Michael made a pretty engaging post about this. So I want to talk about the post, kind of like why he decided that he wanted to talk about that. I agree with everything that he said. In fact, this is something that as a coach, I've been kind of, helping my loan officers with, because there's just so much out there and a lot of people are just trying to jump on like what's new and what's quick, but not really understanding everything involved with that. So Michael, tell me about the post. Tell me about where you're coming from on this AI rant, so to speak, and let's get into it.
Yeah. Well, what I don't know what day we're releasing this one. Maybe this one's next week, probably, right? So
yeah,
Tuesday,
well, yeah,
24th. So on February 5th, Opus 4.6 and Claudex 5.3 were released, and the significance of those two models, other than the massive leap in reasoning ability and just overall ability, the real significance of those is that they were the first models by those two companies. Mm-hmm. They were the first models that were over 50% written by the model before it. Okay, so it's like at the point that AI can do 100% of the next model, where like this shit's gonna go so fast, it's not even funny, right? Like humans are slowing AI down at this point. Okay, so that's one really big significant thing. About a week before that, a tool came out that you guys might have heard about. If you engage in as much AI stuff as I do, then you've seen it all over your timeline, not necessarily from the mortgage industry, but outside of it, this tool called OpenClaw. If any of you guys have seen the posts about the AIs that created their own social media site, which by the way is fucking crazy. Like I can't believe that happened, but it did. Basically, it was a bunch of AIs that are running on actual computers and with full computer access. So being able to access the internet browsers, being able to access the file systems, all of that stuff. And there's secure ways that you can do this. There's plenty of in not secure ways. That's not the topic of this. The topic of this, like the fact is between that paired with these two new models from OpenAI and Claude, it changed everything. And the pace of and I know we've heard that a couple times, but we're talking nothing this major has happened in the AI arms race since we all learned about GPT back in October of 2023. Okay, this is 100% the most significant thing to happen, and the pace of development just skyrocketed. And Frazier sees this. I mean, I know he knows. I know from your own experience and relationships and research and stuff like that. But maybe just share a little bit of insight into how excited you've been about what we're working on over the last couple weeks, and how much you've seen change coming out of the Empower laboratory just in the last couple weeks.
Yeah, I mean, just to piggyback that off for, and I think I may have said this on an episode but like my background is as a technologist, as an engineer, right? And so Moore's law is something that is just taught in pretty much whether certification, education, anything to do with MIS, ISIT, like you learn about Moore's law. And without getting into that, you guys could just Google it and look it up. But like, I want to bore you with that stuff. But the point is that when you look at like a normal life cycle of tech, right? We've gotten conditioned to be like within like a year, right? Especially with like iPhones and like computers, new stuff like that. Now the thing is that a lot of people don't really understand development cycles. So understand that when something hits retail shelves, it's already like 8 to 9 months behind in current tech that's being developed at that time, right? So, but it's brand new because it's got all that stuff, but like it's already 8 to 9 months behind, right? So you think about that and you're like, all right, that's normal development cycle. Think about how many times you see a new version of like, whether it's a MacBook or a laptop, Windows laptop, stuff like that. It's usually like a 14 month cycle, right? Well, and there's reasons for that. Now, AI is completely blown that out of the water, right? So where you're going to have like that incremental improvement and growth within like a 12 or 14 month cycle, right? We're getting to the point, and like no joke, to where it's like 12 to 14 days, right? As far as like what we're talking about as growth. And because I want to get into what we're doing and how we're looking at it here. But the perfect example, and Michael and I were talking about this before we started recording, is that I'm sure you guys have seen like all the ads for like different, like I see them all the time. There's like probably like four. I meant to record them before I got on here so I could tell you like the names of the companies. But like everyone's like pushing like, hey, this is a YouTube thumbnail generator, or here's this like type of generator and this and that, right? Well, guess what? You could do exactly that in ChatGPT. You just have to know how to do the prompt, right? So there's these people that have like spent time and money and effort and energy into building some sort of like a company or solution or service or something that does these utilities for them. But like you could just now do it in AI, right? Something like
that's an important note, an important distinction is like when they built the tool, it's not like they built the tool and we're like, oh, I'm gonna sell Hope and Soap and people don't know that it's accessible. Like when they built the tool, it was a valuable tool, but this shit is moving so fast that by the time you see it a couple months after it was released, it's obsolete, because you can go directly to the model itself and directly to your GPT chat at a consumer grade level and get the same result that this company spent thousands of hours on, engineering.
Yeah, and that's how AI is learning. So when it comes down to it, like you think about like ultimately is how you make money in life is you have to provide a utility, right? And I think Hormozy talks about this, right? Like it's value for it is the utility that someone is willing to pay you money for, right? And so when we look at AI, right, instead of trying to build some sort of, because what everyone's doing is trying to build some sort of like proprietary walled garden way of looking and using AI, because we're all using the same engines and AI. So like they're all getting into the same models in some form or fashion. Yes, there's more intelligence on the back end, machine learning, like there's all of that stuff happening, right? So yes, I know there's nuances to it, but at the end of the day, like we see the value, and this is why with the broker toolkit and what Michael has developed is we look at like what do loan officers really like need as far as utility, right? And knowing, and I could tell you all of this as being on all sides of the table, right? Being an executive that's getting pitched by a vendor to like, hey, we want your 400 loan officers to use this tool, this or that, whatever. One is I know the adoption rate isn't going to be 100% across all my LOs because all of them are going to want to do certain things. I also know that the loan officers that do adopt it, they're not going to use every bell and because you're paying for all of that development cycle, you're paying for all of it, whether you use it or not. And then it's like, oh, do I need to sign up for a 12, 24 month, so like all this shit, right, that you have to do. And as an owner, I'm like, I don't want to do any of that, right? Like, because I know that, like, so I'm just throwing money away, even though like this may help with recruiting, it may help with this, it may help with that. But if I look at it as like, how do I add value based off of the utility of what they do want to use, right? So you think about this, right? And this is what like we want, and Michael, stop if I'm giving away the secrets here, but like what we want from a utility standpoint is like, What do
Wait,
loan
stop.
office?
You're giving away the no, I'm just kidding. Keep
Yeah,
going.
too late. Shit. No, no, but is ultimately is like, you know, obviously, you know, we're invested in high level as a platform, right? As a platform, not a CRM, but a platform, right? And so, what can we truly do to use that platform to provide the utility of the tool set that loan officers not only care about because they use it every day, but also give it to them in a way so that they're not distracted or overpaying for all these bells and whistles that are cool and nice, but they're never even used, right? So if we could focus on the utilities that, and not only that, but my friends, the reason why these utilities matters is because this is what are the money-making activities for originators too. So what can we use AI for that, but not to create some extravagant wall garden instance, but like how do we leverage that strategy with at the same time leveraging the power of the platform, but giving originators an ecosystem to where they don't have to go out to all these different things when they simply just need the the utilities of certain things, whether it be like rates, right? Like getting, being able to have rates, on your website, or being able to put that into presentations, be able to actually, create hot lists. So people that are in the money strike rate conversations, how do we, how did we, we solved the problem, right? We didn't crack the code, but we solved the problem for newsletters, right? We solved the problem. It's done, right? Like, so if you guys don't know that, by the way, like you can get really good newsletters that's better than anything else that anyone else is doing through the broker toolkit, right? Like you that's done, right? So, and then now we're, working on that loan advisor tool type thing, right? Like where you can have like payment options. Like this is the stuff that people want now, and then using leverage the platform that has all the data from your client contacts, rates, and all that other stuff to then leverage all of that with the utility. So we're not trying to be like, oh, we're trying to create some no, we're not. We're trying to create the utilities of what loan officers have said in Facebook groups, what they've told us, what they're complaining about here or that, and by complaining, I'm not saying they're whining about it. I'm just saying like, hey, we wish we had this, or why do I have to do all that stuff? So like we take all of that and create this utility that they just have to go one place for, right? And so
it integrates with your, like, no matter what high level instance you're using, it integrates with your high level account directly. You can pull the contacts from there, like crazy shit. But to back up a minute, like all of this started on, I was looking at my notes here. All of this started on January 27th. So we're like 3.5 weeks in. And we've got this newsletter pro tool, which writes newsletters on a reoccurring basis. You like all the way down to your neighborhood. You can provide a zip code. It's going to tell you local things to do coming up this weekend. It's got like, it's crazy what you can do with this. Sending newsletters out from your high level instance automatically on your behalf. Activity tracker, rate monitor, loan advisor, all of this stuff. It's been 3.5 weeks with me. That's it. Like I'm the only person doing this on our team right now. Our team's focusing on making sure that our company doesn't burn to the ground while I get lost in this stuff. And all of this is to say, like, I'm stressing this because like to keep up with this shit when you are an originator right now, like you're entering a race that you can't win. Like, and the point, like the point that I was making in the post is like, if you have an idea and you think it's a good idea for an app to develop on GPT. Now here's the thing, like if you already know how to do this and can go idea to deployment in an hour or two, like it might still be worth it for you to do that right now. It probably isn't going to be within a couple months because you'll have like, it'll be even easier to deploy that app. And so you just gotta like, I mean, you ran your business just fine 6 months ago without these tools. I promise you can continue to run your business and do money-making activities without these tools for another couple months. If you just like, I'm just suggesting that as an originator, you just chill. You just wait. You do the money-making activities, because I promise the tool that you think you want to build, it's not going to go anywhere. It's not going to provide some crazy value that you're not getting out of your current business right now, that you can't wait a month or two on, because shit is moving that quickly right now. And so I that was really the point of my post. Full circle, we'll jump back into the toolkit, but I just wanted to close that loop of like, that's really what I'm saying is like, is it, especially if you haven't learned it yet, like, good, good. Consider yourself lucky. Step back. Don't commit to learning the shit, because I'm telling you, it changed a couple weeks ago in a big, big way, in a way that makes it no longer make sense, even if it did make sense for a short window of time, for an originator to vibe code their own tools. Like, give it a couple months. I promise you this landscape is going to look completely different. You're going to have access to all the tools you could possibly want. And any time that you spend right now learning how to vibe code is going to be wasted time that you could have spent prospecting, building relationships, and so on.
100%. And guys, I'm going to make this real for you. So like I attended a couple trainings, right? And there was one that happened like when Michael was talking about weeks ago, right? Like, so there was an update to OpenAI. And so people had signed up for this training of this and that, and this, and the guys had built all of this stuff, right? And this was a non-mortgage industry. It was just AI in general, but it was all about like building your brand voice and all of this shit. And OpenAI on their new release, basically blew all of that out of the water. So all this stuff that they had created for this course was not working, right? Like, because like the new release of OpenAI is totally screwed up. Copywriting, you guys have probably seen the posts and the articles and whatever. And it's just like it's not great, right? And so that's when people start moving to Claude. But here's the whole point is that like people are like invested spending, like, this wasn't cheap. It was like $497, right? To do all that stuff. And now people are like complaining and being like, you know, look, this is all outdated stuff. And that's my point, is that you guys are going to spend money to learn something that is moving too quick. It's not like learning something that's going to be around for a few years. Like, is AI going to change? Sure. Right. But like what they look like today is vastly different than what they look like at the beginning of the year. And things are happening too quick. I had a consultation with someone that was like trying to bring something to market, and she had spent probably, I don't know, close to like 125,000 and dev and all this other stuff. And she was like walking me through all of it. Now, this is like not vibe coded like AI stuff. This was like just like her trying to come up with something. And I said, like, there's companies doing this that's just for free now. Right. And she was trying to like go and like have people pay for this and build. And I'm like, this is going to be 100% free. I already know 2 companies that are building this out that loan officers aren't going to have to pay anything. And she's like, well, I talked to some people, and I said, yeah, because they don't know about it yet until they start knowing about this other stuff. And then now you're having to compete with people that have like millions in marketing and stuff like that are trying to build these things. And I'm like, just like, I'm just telling, like, I'm not saying that what her idea is a great idea. It's something that's needed. It's something that absolutely would be helpful for the loan officers. Problem is that like these people that are AIing this, right? You know, or I guess we can call it vibe coding, you know, just to, you know, cover all basis. But like these people are just vibe coding this stuff, and it's done. And because it's such a small lift, especially as far as like economic investment, that like you just, if you're trying to like try to play in that game, you're just not gonna be able to compete, especially when they could give it away for free and figure out how they could get it from a different side. And it's just happening too quick. And so you're going to be wasting time. And so it's not that, so like what Michael isn't saying, like, and I don't know, correct me if I'm wrong, but Michael would say like, just forget about AI. It doesn't matter. It's more of just like, don't invest the resources and trying to master it in the way that all these other loan officers are telling you to do all these things, when it's really going to be obsolete probably within a month, and things are going to change. And then you're gonna have to go back and learn it again and learn it again. It's like,
I'm saying don't build. I'm saying don't build, right? AI, AI is here to stay. Use the tools that are at your fingertips. Do not waste time building right now, because I'm telling you, it's a waste. And like people got in, like people jumped in on the post and like, oh yeah, but I made this and I did that. And I'm like, I'm not saying that you wasted your time 2 weeks ago doing this. I'm saying to do it today, you're wasting your time. And that's how fast this shit moves, is like the people that were engaging don't even realize what exactly I was referring to. But you're gonna see in a few weeks, a month, 2 months or whatever, like you're gonna see that this landscape is just it's
the arms race is gonna be fucking crazy, because what's gonna happen is essentially what we see too, is like people are gonna see what is being built and people excited about, okay, cool, we'll just add it to our shit, because they could just do it right now. So they're like, IP, forget about it. Like that's gone, right? Like, I mean, like, so guys, like I've seen it, and I would say my view is a little different, because I was knee deep in Silicon Valley, you know, tech scene, during the bubble, during it, like, working in it as, from private equity standpoint, hedge fund, all of that, right? Incubators. And so I saw like tech, right? I've seen like the evolutions of shit. Like, this is just insane. Like, this is like, you can't even compare it really. It's just moving too quick. And there's so many different discussions on this, but ultimately is that as an originator, like, you got to figure out where is your most valuable time. And here it is. I'll tell you right now, your most value, because what are you trying to save? Are you trying to save the $97 a month, right? For your time of building something that you now have to maintain, that you now have to update or whatever. And that's great if you want to do all of that stuff. And you're like, hey, I can maintain it, my volume and time and all the stuff. It all works out. So like, I have time. Cool. Right. If that's your world, then do that. But for a majority of loan officers who are just finding it hard enough to, like, get the right prompts and for like content creation or something like that, the last thing they need to be doing is spending 2 days in like an immersive lab on how to create a newsletter or something like that. Like with AI, it doesn't matter. And then now these loan officers that are trying to like use this as like a value add to agents and all the other stuff, right? Like, great idea, but now other companies are going to see that and be like, all right, we'll just add this as part of our thing. Or especially on the agent side, like brokers are like, oh, now I could add this because they're going to want to recruit too. I'm just telling you, like, the attention is going to be out of control, like, or the attention battle is going to be out of control. The freaking land grab opportunities are going to be out of control. The arms race is going to be out. Like, this is going to be nutso. And as an originator, you want to like really hone in on building a sustainable business, right? Because and I didn't really want to go into this, but I just, because this is a whole different episode, but I want you guys to think about this. Every single person that posts online about the content, in the context of AI is going to take my job or AI is not going to take my job as an originator, is the most ass backwards thing. Nobody is talking about what the real threat is, right? You guys don't need to worry about whether AI takes your job or not. What you need to worry about is AI going to replace a good majority of your clientele, right? Like, their jobs, right? So I had a call today and I did that, and everyone, like, they're all, didn't even cross my mind, right? Because you're thinking, okay, it's all look, guys, look, we're humans, so it's all self-interest. I get it, right? So it's valid to think that way. But what are you going to do with all the people that are in those mechanical blue collar jobs that aren't manual labor, or not like where it needs a physical human to do something, but it's really the brain and the utility of that value? What are you going to do when they don't have any money to buy a house because their job no longer exists? And here's the thing, and why that matters is because you're like, well, that affects everyone. That affects the average, the mediocre, and below. The upper echelon of people that have built great, connected, relationship, trustworthy businesses, they're going to be okay, right? And so instead of like having a pool of 15 borrowers for the sake of argument, right? And you have everyone competing for that, you're going to have everyone competing for 2, because AI is going to replace 13 of those jobs. Right. And so they don't have an income. And so, like, guys, this is a bigger concept, and I don't want to like sidetrack it, but that goes back to what we said is like, what can we do as a partner to loan officers? What can we do as in saving you time and effort, but also give you the utility that you want? This is what AI needs to be, is like, leverage your partners to do that. And like, guys, look, this isn't like, oh, now you got to, pay 97 for this, 90. No, right? It's like, it's just the same rules apply to us as they do to you. This is like, how do we add this on top? And instead of you going and having a 97 here, $47 here, 190, like, no, right? Like, cause we want to battle against that, because we know that's coming. We absolutely know that's coming. You're going to see the ads if you haven't already. You're going to see all the webinars, all the training, all of that stuff. So everyone else is going to be out trying to do that same shit to you guys. And we're trying to stop it by like just giving it to you. Right. So,
yeah, 100%.
That's how I look at it.
Crazy times, man. Crazy times. And again, the arms race is really what you have to, really what you want to look out for. And ultimately, I think a blue ocean, red ocean strategy, right? And the idea of red ocean is the shark infested waters that, with blood everywhere. And there's just too much going on, and that's where most people try and fight and get pieces of business from. AI and running and teaching your agents how to use AI and developing some unique AI tools and stuff like that. Like that was a blue ocean for a year, you know, maybe. And it's not anymore. Like it turned into a red ocean environment just like that. And so that's ultimately like my call to action coming out of this is like pick up your head and look for the next blue ocean. And it's probably going to be human driven, relationship driven. Like it's like in a world where AI does so freaking much, people are going to be really seeking that human connection. And so if you're using your AI tools, we've said this for, you know, since we started the MLO project. Now, if you're using AI tools, use them to build deeper and more impactful human connections. Don't get lost spending a few hours on a Saturday thinking you're doing something positive for your business by hunkering down and vibe coding a tool for a few hours when you could go out and you know, shake some babies, kiss some hands with that few hours.
Yeah. We will take no responsibility if you took that literally. So either one, right? Because either one's probably not going to be, one's worse than the other by far. But yeah, just don't. The disclaimer is he was joking, so don't go out and shake any babies. But guys, look, you know, at the end of the day, what we want to do is we want to help you leverage AI, right? We don't want to drown you in it. We don't want to punch you in the face with it. I know that's what our members enjoy about us is that we like, hey, give you, and what I started doing with my coaching members, I give them a relevancy score. I'm like, here's something you're going to see. Here's a new tool or whatever. I think it might something. So I give it a relevancy score of like, do you want to spend any attention? And they love it because they're like, and then I'm like, you decide. Like here, I give it a complete summary, why it would matter to you, why, like, you know, from a relevancy score, 1 to 5, you know, 5 being like, absolutely, like, check this out. It could help, you know, this is why, but we try to give more information. Ultimately, there's going to be a lot of noise. You're going to see a lot of emails, webinars for all this stuff, punching in your face with this new tool, that new tool. We're just going to help you leverage it so that you can use it effectively and use it to win.
Amen.
That's it. Amen, brother. All right, my friends. Well, thank you for joining us on this episode. If you have any topics or you want to come, guys, if there's a lot of people, if you're listening to this and you're pissed off on what we said about AI tools and this and that, bring it on. Let's have a debate. Let's talk about it, right? Like let's have some fun on the MLO project. So on behalf of Mr. McAllister, I am Frazier. This is the MLO project empowered by Empower LO, HL4, and the different coaching community. All the things you need to have fun and win in 2026 and beyond. Hope you guys have an amazing day, and we'll see you on the next one.